Hi guys, sorry about that. We ran out of time on the first video. We're going to pick up right where we left off, where we're talking about unemployment insurance. Okay, so while you are laid off from work, so all those individuals that are currently laid off from work and they apply for unemployment are also eligible for unemployment insurance, which is a government program. Um, it helps with when they apply for unemployment, the insurance means that they're going to be receiving some pay. They won't be receiving nearly what they would receive if they were working, but it's a program that the government, tries to help supplement their income by giving them some kind of benefits. It partially protects their incomes, meaning, like I said, they only get partial payments, but they get something. They also feel that it increases frictional unemployment, though, because as we mentioned already, frictional unemployment means that people are laid off or without work, and it's not that they can't find work, it's that they can't find work in the field they want. So they're kind of holding off to get a position that they want to get, not necessarily take a job to have a job and get paid. So unemployment sometimes helps facilitate frictional unemployment, because people may say, oh, if I'm receiving some money and I can pay my bills with it, then I'm going to stay unemployed until I find what I want. So sometimes frictional unemployment can actually, cause the unemployment rate to stay a little bit high due to them receiving their unemployment insurance. So who qualifies for unemployment? It's anyone that's unemployed because they were laid off, only because they were laid off. So if you quit your job, you do not receive unemployment. If you get fired, you do not receive unemployment. Unemployment is only for individuals that were laid off due to a hardship of the business, or maybe their skill set has changed, so they get laid off because they no longer have those skills that are necessary or required for that position. So you'll see that the government can actually change unemployment rules as much as they want to. Honestly, like right now, that's happening actually. The government, like I said earlier, adding that $600 check for unemployed individuals right now, that's not something that normally happens. So the government can change the rules. So everything that we're going to talk about here as far as the rules for unemployment insurance is, just the basic concepts, but it can all change. So 50% of former wages for 26 weeks. So you'll receive around 50% of your wages for up to 26 weeks. Now again, that can change. They can extend that if they want to. They're just trying to reduce the hardship of unemployment, so make it a little bit easier for people that are unemployed. But on the other hand, like we said, it can cause more unemployment. Unemployment can increase because people stop looking for work and they're not taking jobs. So a lot of times what the government does is, at least in New York State, is they actually monitor your employment. So if they find out that you went for a job interview, which you do have to tell them when you have job interviews, and if you go for a job interview and they offer you a job and you say no, then you lose your unemployment benefits. Okay, so you have to be careful. There's a lot of rules that go along with unemployment. Um, so structural unemployment we already talked about, right? This is where technology changes and people can't find jobs in their specific areas. They're just not available. It's not that they're waiting for a different job, it's just that they're not available. So there's basically a higher quantity of labor supplied. That means there's all these people out there with this special skill, but there's a smaller amount of the labor demanded. So the companies are just not looking for that skill right now. Therefore, there's a surplus of labor causing unemployment. So there's all these people with these specific skills that can't find a job in these specific fields, and therefore that causes unemployment. Equilibrium, we've talked about equilibrium before, right? Equilibrium is basically where you have an equal balance. So if wages are kept above the equilibrium price, we know that can cause unemployment. We talked about that in previous chapters. A raise in the minimum wage will cause a surplus of labor because there's more workers willing to work and some are unemployed. Okay, so minimum wage laws, unions, efficiency wages, these are all actually, these are number 12. This is where we start talking about number 12 of your classwork. Okay, so we've already talked about number 4, number 9, and number 11 in the first presentation, and now this actually starts number 12 here. The time it takes, right? That's one thing that's missing here. So number 12 says, what are the 4 reasons for unemployment, and explain them. Well, one is the time it takes to find jobs, right? Which was frictional unemployment. That was one main cause. And then the other 3 are listed here. Minimum wage laws, the power of unions, and then efficiency wages, the theory of efficiency wages, which we're going to talk about here in a second, okay? So unions. So basically what a union is, and you guys probably know this already, some of you may not, a union is a group or an association that will go into companies and they will negotiate for their members to be employed. They want them to have certain wages, certain benefits, certain working conditions. So the union will go in and negotiate, basically. Depending on who you speak to, some people love unions, some people hate unions. When you think about a plumber's union or electrical union, it's great for them because it protects them and it helps them because they have a special skill set. It helps them find good employment. Collective bargaining, this is where that discussion that I told you about, that the unions go into the companies and they try to negotiate and come up with certain benefits and salaries for their union members to work there, that's called collective bargaining. If that's not agreed upon, they may go on strike, right? The union members will go on strike, and then that company, if they don't agree on their terms, they may have a bad situation because now they don't have people working. Union workers earn 10 to 20% more than similar workers. So they say that, you know, when companies hire unions, that causes unemployment, they're saying, because people that have the same skill set may not be members of a union, and then they can't find a job because all the union workers, like if a company says we have to hire union workers because we have an agreement with the union, then that means people that are not part of the union cannot work there. A lot of construction companies still operate that way. And it's actually not a great thing. So unions, they raise the wage above the equilibrium price because you might have people the same quality of skills that can't find a job, so they're willing to work for less money. And then you've got the union members, because they're in a union, making more money because it was negotiated for them. So it could cause unemployment. So this is basically just saying the same thing. Okay, workers in the union, they reap the benefits of collective bargaining, of them being negotiated. It's all being negotiated. So economists, of course, they're the critics. They disagree with unions. Okay, first they say when wages for workers increase, it reduces the quantity of the labor demanded, causing unemployment. Right, what I have already mentioned to you. They feel that it's necessary. The advocates feel that, you know, the people that are for unions feel it's necessary for helping control wages so that a firm can't just, you know, pay a certain amount of money to certain people and not to other people. So in other words, if they hire 2 people on the same day with the same skill set, one might make $30,000 a year and one might make $45,000 a year. Is that fair? I don't know. Why would they pay that much of a difference in price? Unions, though, are saying it's not fair, so we're going to negotiate, come in the middle of that, so that all our workers with the same skill set are going to make the same amount of money. Okay, so this is the last part for number 12, the last reason, the theory of efficiency wages. This is basically paying above equilibrium. They're saying that if we pay above equilibrium, we're going to increase productivity, right? This is what we've actually been talking about all semester when we talk about GDP and productivity, the last several chapters. So paying above equilibrium price will make people want to work more. They're healthier, they're working for more stuff, they have a higher productivity rate, right? They're better paid, and the turnover is less. They're not losing as many people. Same thing here. Efficiency wages. The firm pays a higher wage. It attracts a better pool of people, maybe people that are more educated, more committed to work. It increases productivity, increases the quality of that workforce. Higher wages, people making more, as I mentioned. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, guys, so that's about it. That is our chapter 28 on unemployment. I wish we were there with you guys. I hope that you're, getting your work done and everything's okay. Let me know if you need anything. And we will hopefully chat soon. Bye, guys.